Yo, what's up guys? Trail here. So, if you haven't heard the news, Oregairu Season 3 is coming out. And I'm super fucking excited, although I'm also very fucking scared. This video is pretty much to talk about hype, and for those who don't know, catch you up to where my thoughts landed at the end of Season 2, because although those videos are still up, some of you may not be caught up to speed, so I'm going to catch you up to speed. So, Oregairu, for those who don't know, is a series I've been following religiously as I took a chance on it back in what? It's been at least 3 or 4 years since the second season came out, and it was like a year or two before that one. So I think the original came out, what, in 2000, I want to say 13, 14 maybe? It's been a while. Like, the series has been going on for a while. And the thing about Season 3 is that Season 3 is supposed to finish off the series. Like, the last volume of the light novel is Volume 14, which I don't think has been released yet. But considering what they did with Season 2, which was adapt shit that was in a novel that had just came out, that probably tells me that Season 3 might end up doing something similar. Although, I think we have until... I didn't check the date, but I think we have. It's like a little later this year. And I think Volume 14 is supposed to come out this year. So there's a high chance they're already adapting the end of the manga. I mean, the end of the light novel. Sorry. I'm so used to manga anime adaptations that talking about light novel adaptations is a whole thing with me. So, this will be the end of the Snafu saga. Season 3 will come out and we will be done. And although I'm excited because I love these series and I love these characters and I love the themes the series pushes, and I love the little small intricacies that the series brings, I'm terrified, and you would know why I'm terrified if you were following the series or if you kept up with my reviews when I did them. Which, by the way, there will be episode reviews of this. There's no way in hell I wasn't going to not talk about this series every day, every week I get a chance to. Also, because I'm analyzing the fuck out of it. That's why I say I don't always like to do episode reviews unless I can analyze or do something that other people can't do. I mean, I know people, because the thing is, I read manga just as much, if not more, than the anime adaptation. So a lot of the series, like Promised Neverland, for example, I'm caught up to the manga with that one, so I don't have genuine reactions for the episodes, hence why I don't do episode reactions or reviews for Promised Neverland. Same thing with My Hero. I read and caught up to that, so I don't do it. Black Clover has been an exception for a few different reasons, but I'm not going to get into that. So let's talk about Oregairu Season 3 and why I'm fucking terrified. So at the end of Season 2, I'm going to try to do a kind of a quick recap of my last video, because it's important to know these things going into Season 3. In Season 3, as far as our main 3 characters are concerned, the way I describe that relationship going forward, because we're currently in what I would consider a love triangle, is that the idea is this. Whoever between Yuki Noshita and Yui shows Hikigaya their genuine side first will win. Quote unquote. This is an idea. When I made that statement back at the end of Season 2, what, 4 years ago, that was under the impression if the show went a traditional route. There's a high chance that the show will not go a traditional route and have Hikigaya pick one of the girls. It could be as simple that we get a loner ending. This is one of the few shows where a loner ending is very fucking possible. And the reason why I mention this and I say this is because it's in the name of the show. My teenage romantic comedy is not what I expected. Or my teenage romantic comedy snafu being like a fucking, I guess, a mistake or a mishap. Pretty much saying, and if you've watched the series, Oregairu does not go in a traditional route. It has elements, of course, but like, the whole point of the show is to kind of like flip a lot of the standard tropes on its head, because we have a main character who's cynical as fuck and always talks in a way like he's like Batman. I think that was the way we used to talk about him for the longest. He's essentially a slice of life Batman, and we fucking love him for it. But Season 2's whole premise was to show that even though he had solutions, that they weren't necessarily the right ones, and that Hikigaya, as cool as he was, still got shit wrong and still fucked up some things and still needed help. and he needed to come to that realization. So the standing point of all the characters in terms of their emotional growth out of a 10, so 0 out of 10, Hikigaya is at a 3, Yui is at probably around a 5 or a 6, and Yukinosha is at 0. And for those who don't understand why I placed them in those spots, I'll explain. From my conclusion at the end of the second season, which I still stick by, Yukinosha's 2 seasons, all it did was bring her back to 0. So Yukinosha has 2 main personalities we see throughout the course of the 2 seasons. The main personality that you see at the beginning of the series is her Ice Queen persona. This persona, people think, is her base, fucked up persona, and when you peel this layer back, you get to the real Yukinon. Which is true, but the real Yukinon already had an issue to begin with. So what I mean by that is that by the end of the second season, which leads into kind of the climax of the second season, it is revealed that Yukinosha's original issue was not the fact that she was a cold-hearted bitch. It was the fact that the cold-hearted bitch was a way she used to deal with her true issue, which is codependency. Essentially, the idea is that she overly relied on her big sister. Like, they even mention in the seasons how she idolizes her big Haruna, or Haruno, I forget how to pronounce it, because it's been a while and I haven't refreshed myself on the names at all. So this is all off of memory. She idolized her big sister to the point where it was like obsessive and not healthy. And her older sister thought the only way to deal with it is to intentionally treat her like shit / antagonize her. Because how do you get someone who views you as the greatest or as a god or goddess to stop idolizing you? You make them disillusioned with you, which is what she proceeded to do. And the only thing it did was cause Yukinosha to go into this weird ice queen mode to like emotionally protect herself. Unfortunately, she lost a lot of basic human interaction because remember, she's been emulating her older sister to a fucking T at this point. So she essentially lost a lot of her social skills, which led to the Ice Queen moniker. So when Hikigaya and Yui were slowly pulling off those layers, she was getting closer to her true self. Yes, but the problem is you still had you had the codependent girl that was under all the fucking ice that was there since she was a child. No, because now the problem is instead of her relying on her older sister, she's relying on Yui and Hikigaya, which is why you have that emotional scene at the end of season 2 where Yui essentially proposes an idea that allows Yui to still be happy and get what she wants, but also allows Yukinosha to stay in this weird stagnant middle of the road thing where she's still codependent, but she's not being, but it isn't as big, but Yui doesn't care. Like essentially Yui's already emotional. The reason why I put Yui at a 6 is because Yui already was emotionally the most developed of the 3 from the get-go. The only slight development she's come into is that she realizes she's interested in Hiki. She realizes that Yukinosha's interested in Hiki and realizes that if this shit progresses any further, their relationship is going to change again, and she's afraid of change. So her proposition is to essentially take Hikigaya as a boyfriend while still maintaining a friendship with Yukinosha, while Yukinosha's still trying to get to her feelings, because Yukinosha, I don't think, realizes she has at least a thing for Hikigaya. Hikigaya's at a 3 because Hikigaya at the beginning of the series was at a 0, and everything he did in the first season allowed him to stay at a 0. Because I think he goes up maybe like a point. He goes up like maybe a point or half a point in the first season. Because the first season, he's essentially, everything he does makes him look like an asshole, but he's essentially right in most of those sequences. So it's not a huge thing. So he doesn't make a lot of progression in the first season. The second season is when he has to actually deal with his feelings and the results of his actions, which allows him to grow, which puts him, his growth, he grows a lot more in the second season because of it. And he's a guy who's constantly like, and he's the reason why that Yukinosha didn't accept Yui's proposal, because he refuses to have a fake relationship like Hayama does. This is why I made the comparison in that video between Yui and Hayama, because they're essentially the same character. The difference is there is no one in Hayama's group of friends who's pushing him forward to change, whereas Hikigaya is making sure Yui doesn't stay stagnant, he doesn't stagnate, or Yukinosha. So the premise of season 3 is Yukinosha getting over her codependency issues, Hikigaya continuing his growth, and Yui realizing that things will change and learning how to deal with change. That is the main crux of all three of our main characters as far as season 3 is concerned. The problem is that I'm scared, and I know I'm not going to like the ending no matter what way it goes. I know there's no way I'm going to like the ending. Now, if I can say it's objectively good, it's a different story, but there's no way I'm going to like season 3. Why? Because I love all three of these fucking characters. They all are important to the show and the narrative, and they add so much in terms of character dynamics and shit that I don't want to see any of them screwed. But realistically, considering the name of the show and how this shit's been going, one of them, if not both of them, are not going to get what they want. Hopefully, if nothing else, Hikigaya. But the one thing I will be sure of is that Hikigaya will at least have grown immensely by the end of this series. And that's fucking beautiful, because I love his character. I relate to it a lot. That's why this show isn't really for everyone, because some people don't get it, and that's fine. But that's our current standstill. All the characters need to continue to grow, and then you have your issue. You have your kind of side characters like Iroha, who's going through her own shit through the second. She's introduced in second season and kind of dealt with her own development in second season. But the point is, she's kind of a wild card that's around. There's a lot of theories going around that Hikigaya might end up with her, because she, just like I would say Yui would be considered a non-traditional ending. The traditional ending would be him ending up with Yuki Noshita. And considering those are the first two characters who meet, Yui being introduced a little bit later, there's a high chance that could happen. So, yeah. That's kind of the gist of the situation. There will be episode reviews of it weekly, so don't worry about that. I will be emotionally analyzing the shit out of it like I always do. I'm excited, but like I said, I'm scared because I know I'm not going to like that ending. I know I'm not going to. There's no way I could. There's no way. But the fact that I'm emotionally preparing myself for it, and the fact that I'll unfortunately end up seeing the signs as the episodes progress in this final season, But if nothing else, I'm glad this saga gets a true ending, because the second season technically ends on a cliffhanger, because the main crux at the end of the episode was Yuki Noshita had a request, and we didn't get to hear it because the screen went to white and said the season's over. And I said, fuck you, how dare you. So I'm guessing the season will start at least relaying what her request is. And more than likely, considering her issue is codependency, her request is more than likely going to be something along the lines of, get away from me for a while. Which is what she needs, but like I said, as she changes, her feelings may change also. Like, people may when you step away from the thing that you've been relying on for so long, you realize that your infatuation with that person was more so for what they could do, not necessarily for who they are. Or maybe you like them and you respect them, but you're not in love with them. So there's a high chance her feelings may change, just like Yui's feelings may change, because none of them are grown emotionally yet. Yui's closer because she's aware of her feelings and she's aware of the other's feelings, but she isn't willing to change. So we're going to see if she's willing to make those moves. Yui bothers me the most because I think she's like, to me this series doesn't work without Yui, and that's what aggravates me, because I feel like she's going to get screwed at the end of it, and I hate it. She's become a fan favorite just because of what she represents, on top of her character being fucking adorable, but that's a whole other thing. But leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Snafu's back, baby, and I'm scared out of my mind. Oh my goodness. When that first episode comes out, I'm going to be fucking squirming. And just to show how much I enjoyed Snafu, I bought the first and second season of the anime on Blu-ray and DVD. Actually, the first season only came out on DVD and then was re-released later on Blu-ray, and I rebought it. I rebought the first season. I bought the first season twice. Once on DVD and once on Blu-ray, and the second one was already on Blu-ray. I have a problem, but I can't do anything about it. So, well. Anywho, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Look forward to more videos about Oregairu from me. And, let's go a little bit crazy with, anime Batman. Jesus Christ.